Imagine for a moment your pits smelling like nothing. You don't stink after you work out. Your teenager's foot odor doesn't exist. How is this possible? It's Lumi. Challenge Lumi to keep you funk-free for 72 hours. Go to uglytruth.com/Lumi. You can pick your favorite smell, the favorite type of applicator or stick or tube or wipe, and you will be amazed by your non-smelly body. uglytruth.com/Lumi. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 522.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm getting throaty. Well, God, my allergies are ridiculous today.
Okay, just if you're new, I'm Jamie. This is my sister, Stephanie. We are #Sisters Who Podcast, just so you know. I'm not going to talk about it today, but the next time we talk, Apple is changing the way that you listen to podcasts. And it's going to be really important that if you like our show, you're going to have to follow our show because they're no longer doing subscribe. So you're going to have to follow, and then you can actually do auto-download episodes, so you don't have to go searching for the new episode.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool, except that I have a feeling a lot of us are going to lose a ton of downloads because no one knows that they have to go and find it. They're like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll just, I'll think about it another time.
It just takes too long, right.
So expect a massive campaign from all your favorite podcasts telling you to please follow us on Apple, because it's going to happen. But anyway, welcome to The Ugly Truth. Okay, so speaking of podcasts, we live in Northern California. We were pseudo adults when this happened. I was in my 20s. You were too then, when Kristin Smart disappeared.
Yes.
Now you follow crimes like this a little more than I do, but I do listen to podcasts about the crimes. And there is a new podcast. It's not new, actually. It came out in 2019, and it ended in December or January of 2020. But it was so compelling about the Kristin Smart case. It's called In Your Own Backyard, or In My Own Backyard. Yes,
actually, they're giving that guy credit for this case.
It's kind of like with
the Golden State Killer.
Same thing.
Yeah.
He's compiling the evidence in a way that is so compelling, and then they can go. He's getting. What I really hate about all of this, though, is are the cops? They're so pressed for their time that they cannot spend the time that average citizens can to compile and find evidence.
I actually believe that's true.
I do too.
I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That I am too. That to even assign just one dedicated person to one missing girl is expensive.
And they have so many other cases.
And just day to day.
Yeah. So, it's like they would have to stop working other cases that are happening right now.
Right.
In order to focus on this one. And the district attorney has said very candidly, look, the cops at the time really fucked up.
Oh, dude.
Big time.
Have you listened to the podcast?
I haven't, but I didn't know about it until the case broke recently, and I'm like, all right, well, obviously I need to listen to it.
When the case broke, I had actually heard about it, but I didn't listen to it because I'm like, I had just gone through the Golden State Killer and all that stuff. I'm like, I need a minute. Well, then the case broke. They arrested
I knew
the
it was coming because the things that they were doing last year, I'm like, something is happening.
Right.
They know something.
Right. And so I didn't know any of that. So I listened to the whole 8-part series of the show. And the first half, you're just like, the utter ineptitude and lack of desire to help find this girl.
It's true.
The unlogged evidence, the willingness to not dig up a yard to find her because they didn't want to pay for it if it was wrong. There are so many things that went on, and they were fucking corrupt, man. These cops were bad news. And so there's been 2 generations of police or sheriff that have gone through that department. So now they're just like, we're a little more sophisticated. We know a lot more now, and this podcast has been very helpful, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It is amazing to me that the Flores family has not been arrested for 20 years.
It's been 25, actually.
Shocking. What they even know is shocking. But here's what the other thing is. I heard today that they're looking at Paul Flores, who is the accused killer of Kristin Smart, for rape in 2007.
Absolutely. Yep. They're asking the public, look, if this guy raped you,
tell
us. Or if anything happened that was weird that involved him, we want to know about it.
Yes.
Because they absolutely think that he continued to commit crimes.
I think what's really fascinating about
I don't think he murdered anyone else, only because Well, I mean, of course it's possible.
I don't know what went down on that night, but the events of the evening in which she went missing, it happens all the time.
Yep.
And this guy is a predator, and it's the only reason that she didn't make it home is that she got hammered. She was kissing a bunch of boys. She was wearing, she had dyed her hair brown.
She was really beautiful.
She was tall and beautiful, 6 feet tall.
Oh my God, she was absolutely gorgeous.
And so, he took advantage of her. But all of the mistakes that happened, there are a lot of people that knew her that have so much overwhelming guilt for what they didn't do that night.
Well,
it's
no
crazy.
one thinks that that's going to happen.
Well,
and I mean,
and
even then,
supposed to happen.
This was in the early 90s.
It was in 96.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were a lot more naive back then than we
really
are now.
We didn't even think about it. And what's sad about... So this Paul Flores is the suspect, assumed murderer of this guy, of Kristin Smart. And what's really terrifying is his family is what's terrifying.
Well, yeah, I mean, they produced a sociopath, and I mean, it's not really that surprising to me that they helped him cover up his crime.
Well, and to the extent, though, that they have been covering for him since he was a kid.
Yeah.
Did you know that he almost killed somebody in 8th grade?
No.
Okay, so in 8th grade, he was bullying this kid.
Honestly, the thing is I didn't think they were ever going to get this guy. I know that they knew it was him, but I thought that whatever had happened, the evidence is just either non-existent or...
I just think they bungled it so badly in the beginning. Yeah, that there was
I really had no confidence that he was ever going to get arrested for it. So when he did... Or when I knew that they were getting close to making an arrest, I was so surprised.
Well, you know what happened? His sister turned on him finally.
Oh, good.
That's what happened. His sister and her boyfriend turned on the family finally, and so that's why the dad and the brother have you
ever thought about like what you would do if that was your family?
I wouldn't go to this length. They've been torturing themselves for 25 years over something that this person did who was always violent. They had to settle financially when he was in 8th grade because he almost killed somebody. I mean, it was at school. I mean, he's been violent and he has been creepy his whole life.
Yeah.
And so, there's this question about, well, where'd you get the black eye? Where did you get, the night that she went missing and the next day? And there are 13 hours where he is completely unaccounted for. And his dad, I listened to the interrogation, the interrogation of him, or what is it, when they have you come?
A deposition?
It was a deposition. And he was acting, he's like, well, I don't understand what you're saying. He goes, you don't know what a bedliner is? He goes, I think you're going to have to give me the definition of a bedliner. And this went on for hours.
Well, because he's smart.
He's brilliantly smart. He's a fucking psychopath. His dad is insanely psychopathic.
That's the problem with sociopaths, is they have a tendency to be extremely intellectual.
They are.
And it sucks because the average person uses intellect for good and to do good things in their life. But if you're a sociopath or a psychopath or both, then you have the upper hand to do these horrible, evil things and not get caught.
Yes. So what's interesting is now...
That makes me so angry. It's like, that's half the reason why I haven't listened to it, because it's it really pisses me off.
They still live in the same houses.
I know. They're totally arrogant. They're like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're not going to catch us.
And in fact, at one point in the interrogation, Paul Flores goes, show me the body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, oh my God.
Because he knows, he's like, you're never going to find it.
Well, now a lawsuit came out, it was either today or yesterday, where they're suing Ruben Flores, his father, because they have proof that he moved her body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so they have way more evidence than we even know.
Which really pisses me off, too, because that means that even though they've had so much suspicion on this person for so long, and they actually were pretty damn sure they knew where her body was, but they didn't have enough evidence to execute a search warrant, and yet he was able to dig it up and move it without ever being detected.
But how?
It's like, why are you not under surveillance? Why is there not a mounted camera somewhere if you can't have an officer?
Unbelievable.
It's like, come on.
And to me, so at the end of all of this, I'm thinking, this is for the parents, this is absolutely to get their daughter's remains and to have a funeral and to do what they need to do.
And it's helpful in a conviction to have a body.
Yes.
I mean, because the body tells you so much.
But now, it's at this point, it's like, this is almost an obsession. Like, this has to, these people have to pay. They have to pay.
Oh, I hope they do.
It's like, it reminds me of, and this is no offense to small towns everywhere, because small towns can be really quaint. This is a small town where this is happening. Just because it's California doesn't mean it's a big town. It's a tiny town. Everybody knows everybody. They know them. But they call the police on people. Like, they take advantage of every opportunity. And they're fucking disgusting.
They are disgusting.
All of them.
See, I'm glad I don't know all of this. And I know I'm going to eventually listen to it.
You have to. It's so good. Well, they talk about
Kristin.
Me
mad.
They talk to the parents. They're super open. I mean, it's really so good. It's such a great show. So, but I mean, these sheriffs back in the day, not currently, but back in the day, these sheriffs remind me of the small town sheriffs in the South. Like there are parts of the South where they're tiny towns, murders occur, and they're just like, yep, we don't know. And they're like, you do know because it was your brother, and that's why we're not saying anything. And I kept thinking,
or your friend, or the friend of a friend.
Why are they not doing, like, I don't understand.
What is it about this family that they're not?
What is it? It's the dad. It has to be the dad.
Yeah.
This guy, their kid is a loser, so it's not him. It's this guy, and I'm like, who is he, and what is he doing that makes them so afraid? People say they're terrified of him, and I'm like, yes, they're terrified of him. The neighbors, the community, and I'm like, why?
Well, then someone just kill him.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, can someone just put a bullet in his head and call it a day? That fucker got bail and is out on bail right now. It's crazy. I'm like,
was $500,000 unless they lowered it.
$50,000.
Oh, they lowered it. Yeah.
So anyway,
but the asshole's in jail still, right?
Oh yeah, he's in jail. They must have actual evidence against him. But this whole thing is setting up to be that this guy Paul Flores is a serial rapist killer. I think he's murdered people. I don't think it's just her. I think him, and I think what's weird about the whole thing is that his father, I think he gets some kind of sick.
Well, this would not be the first time that a father-son have been killers, where maybe one is more brazen, the other one's willing to do the murdering.
I'm just wondering
but the other one participates.
I'm just wondering if Ruben Flores gets some kind of weird thrill
It sounds
assisting.
to me like he's a sociopath too.
Oh, he is, for sure. And you know what's also interesting is that I'm like, how long was she alive?
Not long.
You think he killed her right away?
I do.
I don't think he did.
It's so uncommon for them to keep victims for long periods of time. I mean, obviously it could happen.
It was only 13 hours.
Yeah.
It's not like it was, but he did rape her. I mean, he did do something.
Obviously, yeah. What I heard is like they think it was a rape gone wrong, but I don't believe so. I think it was his intention all along.
Well, she fought real hard, considering how drunk she was. She fought real hard.
Well, I mean,
based on his appearance the next day.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know what he was doing. You know, I mean, that's the thing about when you think about these cases. You're in your mind, you're like, well, he raped her and then he killed her, and it was probably like quick. No, we don't know.
We don't know anything. I mean, what will be really compelling or interesting, I should say, is that if this family ultimately we find out that they are responsible for several murders or rapes in that area, and the arrogance of it all, it's like, if that does not constitute for death, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. Mean, I being in prison forever, what?
I mean, well, first of all, he's in his 40s.
Oh no, yes, he's 40-ish.
So yes. I'm glad for that.
Dad is 80
because. Well, the dad's not going to pay how he needs to.
I know.
But the kid will.
Yeah, he will.
If they convict him and he goes to prison, and I'm praying to God that they do.
Yeah.
That is a long fucking time to be in prison.
It is.
And even if he gets the death penalty, I have no feelings about the death penalty in the state of California because we don't fucking kill people.
Oh, I know
we decide as the people, and I'm not going to get started on this rant, but we did vote 2 years ago
to institute it,
to keep it for one, and to start killing people, to start executing people. And our governor's like, nah, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah, that was really shitty.
So there's a lot of things that stick in people's craw about that. And I mean, the vote was over. It was like 80% of the state said do it. It wasn't even like by a margin. It was like huge. We all wanted it.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So honestly, well,
we pray for the Smart family.
Oh my God. And if there were any other victims, I hope you get your justice. I mean,
I do too.
You need it. You deserve it. Okay. So last time we were talking, and there's been a lot of good food stuff on Top Chef season 18.
Yay.
I had not watched Top Chef in many years because
it's my guilty pleasure.
Well, I was getting kind of bored with all of the All Stars, and the, reboot and second chances. And it's just like, I don't care.
I don't want to see the same damn people over and over.
They didn't win for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
So it's like not that, and they're all quite accomplished. It's not
they are,
but still. So this was a fresh crop of chefs. I don't know any of them.
Same.
And it's so funny. I go right into my same judgy ways when I watch these competition shows. you can immediately know who's not making it.
Yeah, you do.
Like immediately you know who's not making it. I'm like, look, you got a lot of cut, but you don't got the jib, girl. You're going home.
I know.
And so far, I don't know the names of all the people, but so far there are probably, I'd say there are 2 or 3 that I know are stellar.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere.
That's the only thing about the show is that it does become a little bit predictable in that way.
Yeah.
But I also feel bad for the ones that get cut because I'm like, you know what? Just because you got cut doesn't mean you're a bad chef. You're probably great.
That's probably.
But competition cooking and being on TV is a totally different thing.
Very different, which explains the other show, Tournament of Champions on Food Network, which I fucking love.
I do too.
I loved all of it. The first time.
I liked it better this time.
Me too.
It was less, well, the very beginning, like they did like this, where they did like seeds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which,
yes.
And I'm sure it was so they could have more episodes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the very beginning, those first few competitions, I kind of felt that those were pre-picked. I hated to say it.
Really? Like
they already knew who was going to win regardless of how they cooked.
Yes.
I felt like that.
Yeah, you know what? I would agree with you on that. There were some that were like that.
But it did start to change, I think, as they started to whittle them down. They couldn't have done that.
Yes.
They couldn't have got away with it.
I don't think that happened this season as much.
No, I think it happened at the very beginning.
Yes, I agree.
But then the people who won, who I didn't think should have won, ended up losing anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So
anyway. The Tournament of Champions is the Guy Fieri invention. I think he invented it.
Absolutely.
And okay, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're from Northern California, but that dude does not get enough credit. I mean, some people are starting to come around on him, but he has raised millions of dollars for the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
He has funded cooking schools in our area. That one that my daughter went through, and it's very well received. It's like it's not a joke.
It's not some little shabby, crap
and then now this year, which was great because of the pandemic, of course, is that everybody who won got $10,000 to donate to a sponsored restaurant. And the first time he did that, I started crying.
Aww,
I'm such a pussy, but
no, it was really sweet. I like that
because I know how many restaurants are struggling. I mean, my children work in restaurants, so I do know.
Well, I mean, we've
hard.
had restaurants or places that we used to go to that have closed and didn't make it, and it's really sad.
That's gut wrenching.
And
so they were doing that. And then I don't know, and I love all those women chefs, man. They are so fucking badass.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Food Network is they really have taken that to another level.
They have,
and I'm glad because
the only one Daryl and I both hate, that little redheaded troll from Boston.
Is she the judge?
Yeah.
I think her name's Nancy Silverton?
No. Tiffany.
Oh, Tiffany. Sweet tea.
We hate her so much.
Well, she was on Top Chef.
I know. Whatever.
That's where she started. I mean,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny is
her TV career.
I told Daryl, I said, I don't know what it is about her I don't like. I don't know if it's
She's from Boston.
I don't know if it's her name or if it's her red hair or if it's the fact that she doesn't have a neck. I'm not really sure.
And she has no lips either. She's all teeth.
And she's mean. And I'm like, and I don't really know if it's any of those things, because not one of those things necessarily would make me go, oh, I hate everyone named Tiffany. But I'm looking at her and I go, the thing is you can't deny she must know how to cook.
She's a very good cook.
She's super good. I mean,
so she was on season 1 of Top Chef, so she's been around because I
don't remember her.
Well, I don't know if you watched that.
I did.
So we're 18 seasons into Top Chef,
so
it was a long time ago,
8 or 10 years ago.
And in season 1, that was her shtick. She was a bitch.
Oh,
everybody hated her. She was cutthroat.
Did she win?
No.
Okay, well,
she's never won Top Chef. So she's either come very close to winning.
I do remember her.
Yeah. So I've seen her throughout. They brought her back for
when she ended up on Chopped as a judge. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Because she's been in the food TV competition game for a long time now.
Well, my point,
so she's a good go-to.
My point in all of this is that somebody was mentioning competition cooking is not the same as whatever. So like when Kat Cora came in and she did not win, because she was so rusty.
Mad love for her.
Did I tell you I met her?
No.
I did.
Did you meet her in the elevator?
Yes.
Oh,
with
yeah,
her
you
wife.
did tell me.
They weren't married yet, though.
To the current wife?
Yes.
She is going through it right now. She's on my Facebook and...
Oh, wait, they're not married? They're not happily married anymore?
Well, she got divorced from her first wife.
No, I know.
So she's still married to the second wife.
Yeah.
But the first wife is just putting her through hell.
Oh, because of the kids?
No, money.
Oh,
she's
God.
Just suing the fucking shit out of her.
What an asshole.
She's such an asshole.
Oh, that's too bad.
And so Kat Cora has come out publicly and been like, she is breaking me. Like, physically, emotionally. She's like, mentally. She's like, when is this going to end? You
Why-
know, it's been like 5 years.
She's just punishing her for the
She's
fun of
just
it.
furious. She's a narcissist.
What happened?
She's a narcissist.
Oh, that's
she
all.
basically, you know,
That's all you had to say.
yeah, I think she married Kat Cora because she was uber famous and she
Yeah.
had money. And when they didn't work out,
She's like, it wasn't my fault.
yeah, she's like, I would have stayed with you no matter what. She's like, well, guess what? You're an asshole. And I thought we were getting married because we were in love.
And
you know?
we're not.
And now we have all these children. And she
Yeah.
basically doesn't want to do anything for the rest of her life. And she wants Kat to pay for it. And so she uses the children and the money and all. And so Kat Cora's like, I can't even earn money to pay my own bills. Like, I should be a rich celebrity chef.
Yeah.
But I'm fucking poor.
Because of this
Because
bitch.
of this bitch that won't leave me alone. And she drags my name through the media every chance she can. This the ex does.
And you know what sucks too is that when you get drained like that, it's not like she can assemble a team.
Well, I think she's doing the best that she can, but I think at the end of the day, once she had all her kids, she decided that maybe the celebrity chef thing wasn't for her.
Sure.
Because she's like, you know what, I just want to be a chef and
Yeah.
raise my kids,
Yep.
and I don't want to be on TV every single minute. And that's what she tried to do.
Right.
But she's being forced back kind of into it because that's where the real money is.
Because she needs to pay for all this crap.
she has to pay for this shit, you
Yeah.
know? And I feel...
You know what's
I feel
great?
so bad for her.
What's good in a certain way is that it does come to an end eventually.
I know.
Anyway, so the food stuff is really fun. It's a great escape, and
Yeah,
I
I've
love
been
watching
loving
it. They have really upped the game on including different cuisines, which I do like when they did the one with the African cuisines.
That was
I
fun.
really liked it, and to the point Daryl's like, hey, we have a South African restaurant in town.
Oh my God, every time I watch that show, I'm hungry.
Oh yeah, we have
I'm
to
like,
eat.
where can I go and get some Thai food?
We have to eat dinner when we watch it.
Oh my God.
'Cause I can't-
But it makes me want to eat crazy things. You know, it
Yes.
makes me want to eat stuff I've never eaten.
So I said, they have a South African, yes, and they have fufu there. And I'm like, oh my God. Fufu. I'm like, we should try it. He's like, they have it all. And I'm like, well, where is this place? And
If it's in Sacramento, it sucks.
I'm like, where is this place? He goes, and I'm like, what are the ratings? He goes, 4.5 stars. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but see, a lot of times in our town, because we have one African,
It's one.
yeah. So everyone's like, oh my God, it was the best I ever had. It's like, it's because you've never had it before and you don't know what it tastes like. And so it's
Yeah.
amazing. But go to like New York or San Francisco, or
yeah.
a place where you actually have more than one choice.
Yeah. So, I mean, I watched it and I'm like, here's the thing. And I was telling Daryl this last time. I don't need the sad, sweepy stories. Like,
Right.
I know that there has to be a backstory to push people along, to give people some idea of what kind of person you are.
Right.
I get it. I don't want to hear about your dead mother. I don't want to hear about how hard you had it at home and that you were an orphan and all that shit.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
who hasn't? Like,
Right,
who
right.
doesn't have it?
True.
And maybe, just maybe, it's because I had a shitty life. And so maybe that's why I'm like, I don't want to hear about your shitty life. You want to hear about my shitty life?
Right.
Let's go, you know? But maybe someone who had a perfectly wonderful life will go, oh my God, I didn't know that could happen. You know, maybe.
I think they want to give the chef some depth, you know?
Possible, but I just want to see their fucking food. But
But
am
the truth
different.
of the matter is I have noticed that most chefs don't come from a life of privilege.
They do not.
Yeah.
except for Gianna, everybody else had to work real hard to get there.
Right? There's like a handful of them that really came from
Yeah.
It's like, well, I didn't know what to do. This is my third time going to school. You know, if you're rich.
My parents wanted me to be an actress, but I
Yeah.
just really didn't want to do that. So I went
Right.
into cooking.
Well, she's still a fucking actress.
Of course she is.
And I don't know what it is about her. I think it's because she's all teeth and she doesn't eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why, but you just make me sick.
They put her on Tournament of Champions as a judge, and I'm like, she's gonna be such a bitch.
Well, I mean, she doesn't even
They put her,
eat.
she's like, she took a bite. She's like, I don't really like this.
It was funny
tastes
because
weird.
Jerry was making fun. He's like, why is she using her knife to like dip it and just lick the tip? I'm like, because she really doesn't eat food.
Look at her.
She's like 85 pounds. I'm like,
She has a really big head and a teeny tiny. She has the LA bobblehead look that all those starlets have
and
when
she's
they're
got
trying
the
to be
biggest
famous.
mouth ever.
Very much so.
I just can't take her seriously when it comes to being a chef.
Spaghetti. I can't do
Yeah, and I mean, when I watch her cook and everything,
know
I'm
she's
like,
very
there's
sick.
nothing amazing about anything you do. But you know what?
She's
it's not
quite
fair for me to
successful.
judge.
She was a caterer, Stephanie.
I
She wasn't
know.
like
she was a celebrity caterer, though.
Yeah. So what?
Anyway.
Okay, so we hate Giada. So there's that.
Yeah.
I
do
don't
hate her. Some people love her. And
Why?
then I read the comments.
Who?
and they're
Who
like,
loves her?
All these people that comment on her posts and stuff.
Oh my God, girl!
And they're like, they're like, oh my I got your book. I love it so bad. And then somebody else will write on there, why do you guys love her? She's like 50 pounds. She doesn't eat. She spits her food into buckets when she's not on camera. And they'll be like, look, if you have nothing nice to say, then why are you on her page? I'm like, because I hate you and I want to tell you. That's why. And I don't give a fuck.
You know, I'm not a big fan of Ina. Oh my God, Mom hates Ina Garten so much.
And see, I love her.
I don't hate her either, but Mom
actually I don't love her as far as her personality, but I have her book and I love her book.
Okay, I don't hate Ina Garten either.
I made spatchcock chicken for the first time because of Ina Garten.
Stephanie, we have made spatchcock chicken so many times because of Ina Garten.
Oh, okay, great. I thought I was the only one.
No, we've even smoked it with lemon and all the things.
Well, you have a smoker. I don't have one, but yeah.
Yeah, Daryl does. I don't touch that thing. Oh, so yeah, Mom, and we were talking.
I didn't know Mother hated her.
I said something, because Mom apparently hates fish now, except for trout and certain things. And
trout, of all things.
It's so weird. I don't know what's going on.
Trout?
What?
I haven't eaten trout in my life unless maybe when I was married 25 years ago.
I've never.
Joel may have caught a trout.
Lie. Daryl caught a trout once with all of us. He caught one fish. He cooked it. And he had everybody try it. And I took a bite. I'm like, I hate this. It's disgusting. I hate it.
I'm glad you spared his feelings.
He goes, well, I didn't put the crumpled sun chips in it for crunch. And I'm like, I'm not eating it. And the kids are like, absolutely not. We're not eating it because they don't eat anything. And I'm like, no, I hate it.
I know.
Mom's like, oh, you get me a good trout? I love it. And I'm like, what?
Hello, Allison.
I know. And I'm like, what? Like, trout?
You know what's so interesting is that I could eat sushi 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But I hate fish, like cooked fish. Literally the same.
She goes, I hate Ina Garten. And I'm like, what? I'm like, why? And she's like, so I have made many of her dishes and they're all crap. And I'm like, what? She said, this is why she hates her. She's from the East Coast.
Oh my God. She's from like Nantucket. She's richer than.
And I go,
Roosevelt.
You don't like her because she's from the East Coast? She goes, yeah, they don't know how to cook over there.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, hey, East Coast, West Coast, whatever.
I mean, she's some of the most famous chefs in the world are from the East Coast.
I said, well, not Ina Garten. She's not famous chef.
Ina Garten didn't get famous.
So she goes, I tried a fish dish that looked really delicious. I even went out and spent the ridiculous amount of money for the very expensive products that she insists that you have to cook this thing proper. So I did it, and it had no flavor, and it tasted like garbage. She's like, I threw it away. And I said, okay.
Did she spit while she was talking? Which
probably. Did I? Oh my God.
No, I meant she's like
she was really hostile about it, and I said, oh my God. And she's like, it's bland, it's East Coast crap. And I was like, wow.
She was so indignant about it.
She was, and I was like, oh right. And I'm like, well, I mean, she's more of a baker, really.
She is.
You know, she does the things.
Her cooking is very simple.
Here's the thing.
She never complicate.
I have learned so much from Ina Garten.
I have too.
Just real basic crap.
Yeah.
You know, but the queen of them all is Martha Stewart. I've learned a shit ton from her. But Ina, because she's not classically trained, she's like, any idiot can do it. And she's like, look how fancy I am. And she can do it, and it looks amazing, and people love her.
I mean, I like her because she cooks more like a normal person.
I love her because she shovels the food in her mouth, and she's like, oh, this is so good.
Well, and the stuff she makes is stuff I love. Like, she does.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, she loves salmon. I don't like salmon by itself, but I love fucking smoked salmon.
Oh, really?
Like lox and capers and
God,
dill.
I'm getting hungry. Stop.
Literally, I could like inhale.
Yes, we all know
stuff
about
like
you.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. You guys know how I am. Give me a charcuterie and I will eat the whole fucking thing. Seriously,
so good.
Like, that's my food.
And
she kind of cooks like that. She grills asparagus, and
I'd like to see her do a timed event.
Yeah.
She can do it.
I think she knows her limitations too.
Sure. She's like, look, as long as Jeffrey's happy, I don't give a shit.
Honestly, that's how it all started for her. Yeah. But her food is simple and it's good.
Super delish. I mean, I will say every single recipe or things, with the exception of Martha Stewart, I have taken from a TV person. I always change it. I never keep it the same.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
I just can't.
Well, some of the shit Ina uses, I'll agree with Mother on that. Like, some of the stuff she, I don't keep Campari. I don't keep that shit in my house all the time. And I have a hard time going out and spending $30 on a bottle of alcohol that I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Not to mention, they're like, and it spoils after 3 months. So,
yeah. I'm like, well, what am I going to use this in ever after that?
It's true. It's so true. Anyway, so yes, all the cooking stuff. Top Chef 18, I'm looking forward to seeing it because it's been a long time. The season that the Voltaggio brothers were on, I loved. That was probably one of the best seasons.
Yeah, I was so pissed off on Tournament of Champions.
When he lost.
Both of them.
I know.
I'm like, God, this Brian Voltaggio cannot fucking win something to save his life, and he deserves it. The problem with him is that he's almost too refined.
Yeah.
Like, he's so 5-star.
Well, maybe they're just not cut out for cooking competitions.
But they're on everything.
They just love I think
they're both on everything.
They're cutie pies.
And you guys making fun of me with Michael. I mean, God,
I wasn't.
God, he's so cute to me. Like, he is so hot to me. Like, he posted something on Instagram either today or yesterday where he was practically fucking naked. And I was like, God! I was like, ah! I mean, he's covered in tattoos.
I just legit thought that it was somebody else. The first time you posted a photo of him, I'm like, is that Machine Gun Kelly? I couldn't tell who it was because it was black and white and it was really good. And you're like, that's Voltaggio. I'm like, is this your friend? Like, I thought you knew him. And I'm like, who is this hottie?
Yes, I'm boning him on the side. This is my side piece.
Yes, this is him.
No.
So anyway.
His type, though, it's kind of like, it's like a trend right now because look at Kourtney Kardashian dating Travis Barker.
They're all skinny with tats.
Skinny with tats. They're kind of like rough-looking guys.
So true.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have any ugly and awkward moments, but I have 2 ugly and awkward moments. So I'm going to read them.
Okay, good. Yay.
So ugly and awkward moments of the week. This is from Jessica. When I was in high school, I received an award in front of the entire school. I'd been sitting on the floor cross-legged and hadn't realized that my leg had completely fallen asleep. Have you ever had your leg fall asleep like at the hip?
Yeah.
It's really weird. You're paralyzed.
Yeah, you're paralyzed.
When I stood up, I took one step and then dropped like a sack of potatoes in front of 1,000 high school kids.
God.
Everyone laughed at me, so I got scared and pretended that I had twisted my ankle. I faked a limp for the rest of the day to sell the story.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That was pretty quick thinking.
I know.
And that's a lot of commitment.
A whole day.
A whole day of
living.
living.
Remember when I fell today?
See, that was real.
See? This one's funny. This one's from Andrew. Andrew!
Right?
Am I supposed to get my own lemon or should I squeeze it from my hat?
Right?
I was rushing to class and I fell down the stairs. In my panic, I grabbed the closest thing I could reach, which ended up being some guy's pants. Not only did I fall down the stairs, but I also dragged some poor guy's pants down with me.
Oh my God, how horrible.
I know.
Oh man, I would do that too, though. I'm kind of like a crazy, flying when I'm tripping or falling. Like,
I saw a video of a girl who walked into a party. She's like, "Hi, everyone," and she tripped on her heels. It was in a backyard pool, and they had like a little ring security camera. So she tripped on the pool stones, and she had wedges on, and she fell forward, and she grabbed the first thing, and it was a guy's shorts.
Oh God!
And pulled him down. He was buck naked, and then he fell in the pool on top of it.
Well,
and she's
good.
like, "Oh."
Oh my God.
That's classic.
Yeah, note to self, don't grab someone's clothes when you're falling.
Classic.
All right.
Anyway, well, that's all. We'll talk about Sister Wives next week.
We have to talk about Sister Wives.
So much.
Have to.
So much.
I have something to say about
Actually, wait
Robin.
a minute. Sister Wives in 5, everyone. Okay, so let's talk about Sister Wives and then we'll close out the show.
Yeah.
So we used to do a 15-minute mini-sode of Sister Wives. We used to call it the Little Carnival because TLC.
Oh.
We haven't done it in like over a year because Sister Wives was just not worth the 15 minutes of chat.
True.
But you and I have watched the entire season. It ended last week or a couple weeks ago.
It did?
Yes.
Oh, I just watched it yesterday.
That was the season finale.
Yes.
It was 2 hours. Now we have thoughts. I have so many thoughts.
Yeah. First of all, I have to say this is the first season in a long time that I actually felt compelled to watch.
Same.
Like, I actually DVR'd it and was okay, I need to make time to watch it.
It wasn't all about moving.
It wasn't all about moving. It wasn't all about those ugly little
Catfish.
kids they have. Well, I mean, the kids they have, whatever. I mean, I know that's a big part of the whole polygamy thing.
Yes.
But quite honestly,
I don't want to watch them interviewed.
I watched the show so that I can see what it would be like to have
adults being
4
married.
fucking wives.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the draw for me. So
Me too.
I don't want to hear about moms and kids. And I was like, fuck, I could watch
I'm going to be an attorney. I was like, okay, honey.
Oh, it's Hunter's graduation and we're all going. I'm like, I don't care. God, can't you tell me some drama that's going on between you and your husband and one of the other wives?
Here's the thing about this show. When it first came out, I think it's been, I don't even know how many seasons.
It's been a long time.
When the show first came out, the whole point of them coming out was to be the face of polygamy, to show that we're all just happy, normal, all-American families. We just happen to practice our faith that requires us to have multiple wives, but our kids are stable. We're part of society, and we're tired of hiding, and that's what we don't want to be felons in Utah anymore.
It was to take the shame away from the stigma.
And the fact that we don't wear prairie dresses, and Warren Jeffs isn't raping our daughters.
Right.
We don't have anything to do with him. That was different, and all that stuff.
Totally.
So because of that, for the first 3 or 4 years, you would think that they were the happiest family on the planet.
Yeah.
And that Robin was a little difficult, but other than that, we're a happy family. It's all about the kids. It's all about the kids.
We all believe in this lifestyle. We're all on board. I
choose it every day.
Right.
All that shit. And then it started getting old. And then, just like with anything, you can't fake it for very long.
Well, I don't even know if they were faking it back then, but the way I look at it, I think they were to a point.
They're like, don't forget, we're starting to sell polygamy, you guys.
Yeah, well, and hey, look, we got a fucking reality show that people are actually watching.
Well, and they're just like, we can't be ourselves because we can't show that we fight like monogamists. We have to be, we compromise and we work things out and we love each other, and it has to be that.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, but I also believe that like any relationship, whether it's multiple relationships or monogamy, that if there are cracks in a marriage or a long-term relationship, the beginning is always the easy part.
That's
it's
right.
when it's the longevity that when it becomes hard.
That's right.
That's why you hear about these people who are like, oh, we were married for 50 years and then when we were 80, we got a divorce. I never understood that before. I was like, why the fuck would you wait until you're almost dead?
Why would you wait
to get a fucking divorce?
Waste so much time.
Right? I'm like, but now that I've been married for so long, I'm like, maybe you just get to the point to where you're just like, I can't do this even one more minute. I don't care if I die tomorrow. I don't want to be married to you for even one more minute.
I can't stand your nose hair for even another
second.
day.
Right? So maybe that's it.
Take your underwear from the 80s and get out. God. They're 50 years old, Hank. Get them off. God. God. Because that's the shit that gets to you after a while.
Oh my God, so many things.
It's not the big things, It's
well, and so a good husband or wife will learn the things that make you nuts.
Yeah.
And do their damnedest to try not to do it.
Yes.
And once in a while you might fuck up and do it, but for the most part you realize like this is going to be a deal breaker at some point, so I really need to like quit.
Yes.
And that's what's happened in my marriage, and I think in yours.
Yes.
In this situation you have 4 different women who you have to try to please.
And they're all hitting 50.
And he's been married to these women for 30 years.
30 years.
So he's not cute anymore.
Shit is hitting the fan.
Right? And
not to mention, he's not fucking them regular. And
he's
that's
only
really
fucking
important.
Robin.
And that's real important in a marriage, by the way. And
100%.
he's just like, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm like, if you fucked your wives, you would not be in this situation.
No one would care. And you can tell the difference between in the beginning when they were first doing the show, he was fucking all 4 of them.
He was.
But now he's not, and he's being indignant about it.
He's being an asshole.
He's like, I'm not going to fuck you, Mary. I don't love you, and I don't know why you're staying.
I don't understand. And his whole thing is like, I'm not going to be the one to tell her to go. I'm like, you are such a dick. Oh my God. But she's an idiot.
She's an idiot, but I think she's super insecure, obviously.
Well, here's what I think. I think she's terrified of the prospect of leaving with nowhere to fall.
Right.
Being completely on her own is terrifying to her.
I mean, and let's face it, they all rely on the show at this point.
Yes.
That has got to be their biggest moneymaker.
It is.
And
Absolutely.
none of them have real jobs.
Well, MLMs, but yes.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
Like, they don't have...
They don't go to work.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I think the show is their
work.
gravy train. Yeah. And so it's like, well, what if I leave the family?
I'm losing millions of dollars.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be on the show anymore, even though, she's very pathetic on the show.
TLC would snatch them up in a minute and go...
Give them a spinoff.
Remarried, or
that
whatever.
That would be funny.
Yeah, they would totally.
And I'd watch it.
Every single wife would get their own spinoff in a minute.
And I think Christine is the one that is the most you know, like she could be happily married in a monogamous relationship.
For sure. Yes.
Right? And I think I think that's why she rages with jealous.
Here's what I've had, okay.
Because he's not fucking her anymore, and he's fucking Robin.
There's a subreddit on Reddit for sister wives.
Oh, really?
And I am very, very
active
on it. Because I just love it so much.
Oh my God.
Because I'm obsessed with polygamy.
Right.
I never want to do it.
Me too.
I don't want to do it.
Same. I've had dreams about it, Jamie.
The idea of Daryl bringing another person into my marriage makes me want to kill someone.
Well, see, I don't think of it that way, but you have to remember where I came from in my current marriage. So oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. My best friend, my very best friend was married to my husband.
Right.
Okay. And we were best friends for 12 years.
Did you guys do the wife thing?
No.
Oh, I
God, no. Fuck no. 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 But that being said, because she was my best friend and I knew her so well, and there was nothing going on between me and her husband while we were best friends, no romantic inclinations, no flirting, no thoughts about it.
He was just her husband.
It was literally just her husband.
Right.
But as her being my best friend, we talked about everything.
Yes.
And we talk about each other's... I was married at the time.
So you knew everything about him.
We knew everything about each other, about our relationships, about our marriages at the time. And so I just knew it from a different perspective.
Sure.
Well, now that I'm with him, which is strange, and let's just not go there.
It's 100 years ago.
It was literally 100 years ago. But I often think about how much I miss her as a friend.
Yeah.
And how unrealistic that is. You can't be friends with someone when you're now married to their ex-husband. You know,
that's true.
It's very weird. Yeah. Right? But I really do miss her as a friend.
Sure.
And I'm like, I wonder if she is the one person on the planet that I could be a sister wife with.
Interesting.
Because she knows him as well, if not better than I do.
Yes.
Probably not now, but back then.
Yeah.
And she's the one person that I loved and adored so much.
So is that what it's like to have?
Is that what it's like?
Except that these women on this show hate each other.
They do.
They don't like each other.
I
and they
swear
never
it's because
did.
of him.
They never liked each other. And I think my take on Christine is this. When Robin came into the family, she was cool with it initially.
Yeah.
Because Cody treated all of them the same.
Yeah.
He didn't love them. I mean, he loved them because it was their religion,
right.
And they all had the same goals as far as their religion and their family and all
having
that stuff.
Kids.
And having children and, you know, whatever celestial thing comes after life and all that stuff. And Christine was like, I'm all on board. If we had another wife because God told you to get it, cool.
Yeah.
Then
and their kids were young back then, so everybody was very busy.
And babies.
Right.
Lots of babies.
That's what I'm saying.
And I mean, and Christine had just had truly her last baby. And so, but here's what I think happened. Cody fell in love with Robin.
Yeah.
Like he fell in love with her for real. And she came from a monogamous marriage.
She did. She's divorced.
And even though her family is polygamous, her husband did not want more wives.
Right.
And so she's like, what the hell? I thought, you know, this is my marriage. This is my religion. I thought this is what we were doing. And it ended. And she had these kids.
She says he was semi-abusive, too.
Well, yes, I know. But she never experienced polygamy.
Right.
Even though she was raised in it. And so...
And she wanted it.
Right. But because she was divorced, because she'd been a single mom for a minute... She had a little more of an independent, like, I'm a woman, I know what my needs are, da-da-da-da.
Right.
So the other three women aren't like that. They were raised very differently. But my point is, Robin went into that relationship with Cody going, oh no, this is you and me, babe. We're going on a honeymoon. I have needs. I expect things from you. She wanted intimacy, something that the other three do not have. And so... They went on a honeymoon. She took him to Hawaii for 12 days. Like
that was huge. Yeah,
that was a massive deal.
They had a really nice wedding,
a very nice wedding.
Yeah, and half of them didn't.
Christine is like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this? I want that. Why can't I have that? I want what Robin has." And Cody's like, "I don't love you. Yeah. I love her, but I'm committed to you because we're in this marriage together."
Yep.
But And so it's like she's jealous beyond because she can't get what she wants from this guy.
No.
And he's not going to give it to her. And now he's not even fucking her.
Right.
And now she's pissed. And she's like, I want to go to Utah.
She's like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? Yeah, I'm not even getting laid. I'm not getting any of my emotions and needs met. I mean,
on that aspect...
He doesn't even care about our kids.
On that aspect, I feel like Robin that's not her fault.
Well, so here's what I was going to say about Robin. Because I have always felt that Robin was the one who was not innocent, but didn't really have any bad motives. I feel like the other three had grudges against each other. Legit,
Totally.
Right?
Yeah,
but Robin kind of came into it like, look, I don't have grudges against any of you.
Yeah.
And I literally this is a polygamous marriage, and I get that my husband's going to screw you guys too, and I don't want to talk about it, but
it's what it is.
It is what it is. Well, now with this season, since pandemics hit, she's using that as her excuse to be like, look, you know what? I just want to stay safe. Cody and I have the same, we can't be seen. And all the while, she's just like, this is fucking great.
Yeah,
he's
she loves
all
it.
mine.
Yeah.
He's here I'm getting laid every day.
Yep.
And he's with my children every day.
That's right.
And he's happy here.
And he's happy.
Yeah, and he's not screwing any of them now. I
did notice that when he went to go see Janelle, he was legitimately
happy to see her. I agree.
Because he does care for her.
But they've always had a really strong friendship bond.
Very strong. And they've always said that. He's always said that. He thinks they're like best friends.
Yeah. But I think she still expects him to screw her once in a while.
And I don't think he does.
Not lately.
No. But what's funny...
I think he used to throw her a bone.
Yeah. Well, she has a ton of kids. So,
yeah. But
not lately. But it is interesting to watch him become so frustrated with himself because he's like, I feel guilty, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
And he's legitimately like, I don't think I want to do this anymore, but he's feeling a lot of guilt. And it's like, I think
because they're all committed to him, but he's just not committed to them.
He hopes that Christine and Mary will leave, so he only has to have Janelle, and because Janelle is like, I'm happy to do this because I'm kind of asexual at this point, and I don't really give a shit. But she likes his companionship. Yeah, she likes him. She likes the friendship they have. Yeah, she likes the dynamic they have as parents. Very much so, and so I don't know if anybody has the balls. But, I don't
think Mary will do it. I think if anyone was going to do it, it would be Christine. And that's really surprising to me.
I never thought that she'd be the one.
In a million years, I did not think she was going to be the one. But I will say that she has lost weight. I think she feels a little better about herself physically than she did in the past. Yes. And I also think that, you said it earlier, they're getting older. And when you get older, you have so much less room for bullshit in your life.
It's so true.
You're like, what the fuck? And all the things that we sacrifice as mothers and wives, when your kids get older, and they don't need you in the same way. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, you know what? I actually can breathe and think about myself for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you're like, I am really not happy with what's happening
and I'm really
now.
like so over like placating you and what you need and what you want all the fucking time.
Yeah. Janelle's like, we need to communicate better. And I'm like, you've been needing to do that for like 30 damn years.
I think she's feeling desperate.
She is feeling desperate.
This shit is falling apart.
Well, first of all, she's like, look, I want to do this because I don't want a husband full time. Like, that's, to me, I know a lot of people love Janelle. I think she's lazy as hell. I think she's
the only one that ever worked in the family.
I don't mean like she just lays around all day, but when it comes to relationships or anything,
maintenance of
she's so fucking lazy. She's just like, I just want to be on autopilot. I'll get them when I get them. Yeah. I love my kids, but like, she couldn't even stop her kids from not doing the pandemic correctly. Right. They're like, fuck you, we're not doing it. She's like, well, I can't help it. They won't do anything. It's like, you're their mother. Tell them no. They will say, oh, no, this was just a really hard time in our lives and stuff. It's like, shut the fuck up. We all see it. And we know you do.
And she's not nearly as innocent as she likes to come off.
That crying shit.
It's such an act.
It's such a manipulation.
Oh my God, yes. She reminds me of someone else in my family who used to be really good at manipulating and having that innocent...
She looks like her.
So it's like, for me, I see right through it. I'm like, stop it, bitch.
I've lived it. Yeah, and I think that's wise. Whenever I see Robin, I go, oh my God, that's my fucking stepmother. And she looks like her and she acts like her.
Yeah, and so this whole naive, I'm just trying to do what's right for the kids and keep everyone in our family safe. I'm like, no, you aren't, bitch. And like, you are taking full advantage of the fact that this man loves you. You know it. Yeah. He doesn't want to fuck his other wives anymore, and you're just fine with that.
That's right.
Let's face it.
Oh, and guess what? She's pregnant.
Oh, did they announce it?
No. It was on my Reddit. I'm telling you, this place.
Well,
okay, so...
that's kind of how they ended the season, with her talking about leaving someone behind.
Some ghost child floating around. No. Somebody, they go, I live in Flagstaff.
And they've seen her and she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Yeah. So I think they had to like put that into the storyline so that when she does come out to say she had another baby, it was like, well, you knew we were talking about it.
Yes. Anyway, so I can't wait what happens. I will say on Christine's Instagrams, now that her very first granddaughter has been born,
Aww.
she's been in Utah with her daughter and son-in-law, and all the photos, no wedding ring.
Really?
Nope.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, these shows are always taped, a year in advance?
Yes.
So I was just, like, wondering, I'm like, what happened after all of this?
I don't know, but I mean, that whole thing where she started crying, which I legit started crying for her when she's like, we're not moving to Utah, are we?
Because that was so real, wasn't it?
It was very real.
It was so
it was
raw.
It was the realest I'd ever seen any of them be, but I was saying... Her suggesting Utah was a test. She wanted to see how important she was to everybody. And she found out very quickly she's not that important.
I think she's always, that's always been her gripe.
We never got this on Big Love.
I know.
Why can't it just be Big Love so we can all
Big Love was the best.
We can just embrace polygamy for you and just say, you know what, if you want to do it, that's fine.
I loved that show so bad. I'll never forget the episode where Chloe Sevigny was peeking through the window and watching.
It was a very large moment.
What was it? Jennifer, what's her name?
It was Jennifer Goodwin.
Yeah, Jennifer. I love her too.
Oh my God, I love her.
So, yeah, and like
he's going
she
down
was like,
on her.
yeah, and she was like, she was like mortified and everything, and I was like, oh my God, because that's what you feel like you would be thinking.
The last thing you want to see.
Well, it's the last thing you want to see, but if you were actually in a relationship like that, you know you would wonder, wouldn't you?
Yes.
I mean, you would absolutely wonder if he does the same things to me to you. You know, and I'm like, and then to see it and have it be so different.
And have it not be anything he's
and
ever
it's just
done
like
with you.
filthy. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, he's filthy with her. You know?
Just like, oh my God, I guess I gotta slut it up.
Yeah, but remember then she tried to, and she's like, stop it, let's just do it like we usually do.
He's like, okay. And even he was just like, what are we doing? She's like, I'm a bad girl.
That was hilarious. Yeah,
that was really funny.
That was really a great show, but that, you know, it was
clearly not real.
It was definitely drama.
Somebody asked there's a lot of people in that forum who know people in polygamy or who are LDS or whatever. And
there's a big difference, though.
There is a big difference, but you'd be surprised how many people actually know each other in that world.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah.
So somebody said, hey, she actually went to the same church that Robin and her family did. Somebody asked her, they're like, she was in a polygamous relationship. Her best friend seduced her husband, married her, and then it was her best friend, her and her husband. It was a very abusive relationship. Ugh. And he and the girl, her ex-best friend, were treating her like garbage. And he actually got physical and stuff.
Oh.
And so she ultimately left. Her mom doesn't practice polygamy anymore either. Someone asked her, they're like, do you watch Sister Wives and what do you think about it? And she said, well, I went to church with Robin and her family. She doesn't have anything bad to say about Robin.
Yeah.
But she said, Sister Wives is like this. This is how I portray it. Imagine you're eating food and you eat corn. You shit out the corn. You take the corn out and you wash it really, really good and you put it on a pretty plate. That's Sister Wives.
Ugh.
Exactly. She goes, they're probably happier than most because he's not abusive. And that's the only thing.
Ugh.
They're miserable. And she goes, because everyone is.
Well, because, yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on where you stand. But in my mind, that it is such an unnatural
They say they're less
thing.
miserable. They're less miserable because he's not an abusive husband and they have money.
Yeah, they have money.
And that's why they
well,
are
I mean,
not.
yeah, because they have the luxury of living in literally separate houses.
Yes.
Like, how many people can afford 4 houses?
I saw one where they were all living in fucking trailers.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's not...
in the beginning, before they got the show, they all lived in one house.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't afford 4 houses.
No, they could not.
But the show has given them privilege, and it's
Yes.
allowed them to have that. And I
That's
think that's what keeps them together. Because they don't have to share walls together, and he has the luxury of bouncing from house to house, however he's feeling.
5 to 10 minutes away from everybody too. It's not even like close next door.
Right?
Nobody can even hear you fight.
I mean, right? I mean, when they were in the court in Las Vegas, it was they all lived in the court. So I mean, I don't know. I just
it was the dumbest thing for them to leave, but whatever.
I know, but he's in charge.
So there you go. The Little Carnival strikes again, and thank you for giving us yet another season of trash.
Yes, we look forward to the next season of Trash to see if anything's changed.
And the Reddit that I am in is TLC Sister Wives, if you are a Reddit person.
Oh my God, well, I'm about to be.
Fucking A.
I'm actually a Reddit person, but I just didn't know. I don't know why. Well, I do the Below Deck thing.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the past cast members actually get on and like talk smack.
There has been so many. First of all, there's really strict rules because it's pretty much known that they probably peruse the subreddit, because that's really where all the social media is for them. I mean, there's the Facebook page and stuff, but a lot of them don't follow it because it's so mean.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not productive.
Well, and that's such a huge platform.
Yes.
Versus Reddit is much smaller.
It is, and what's compelling about it is it's people who they're like, oh, I drove by I drove by Flagstaff,
real,
and I stayed at the B&B, or stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate my opinions because I'm pretty harsh. I don't care.
No shit.
I don't care. But I'm Mariah's a spoiled brat. I don't give a fuck what she is. She's still a bitch. They're just like, you don't know her life, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of do because I watched the show.
Or just like this, where you can always tell who Cody's fucking on who has cold sores.
Oh.
And for a while, it was only Robin and Janelle. But at one time, Robin, Christine, and Janelle all had cold sores at the same time.
Well, Janelle's had one recently.
That was skin cancer. And the reason I'm telling you this is because in the Reddit, I said something and I go, oh, well, she has a cold sore. Someone's getting laid. And they go, that is skin cancer. And she had it removed. And it was very serious.
She did have it removed because in some episodes she's got it. And then in others, it's gone.
Yeah. So she had...
Poor editing on their part. I'm like, look, you can't have her have the mole on her face when 2 episodes ago it wasn't.
Yeah, it was literally a rotten hole on her mouth, and now it's gone. And so it's like I got just filleted for that. I'm like, well, pardon me, Stans, I didn't realize that it was a fucking mole. I thought it was a herp. It looked herpy.
I can't tell. I'm just watching it from TV, okay? Calm
down. But they just get like, well, she's allowed to change her mind, And I'm like, okay, well, 3 posts ago, you guys were all about it. And then I say it. Apparently, I have different words. And then suddenly...
You're articulate.
Suddenly, they're like, people are allowed to change their mind about their religion. And I'm like, yes, trust me, I know. Okay.
Yeah, you really have to have like a very cavalier attitude if you're going to comment.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, right? Like no one.
I laugh. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Like, totally. But I'm here too, so what do I know?
Jerry gets really upset, but that's because he's old, and I think he legit thinks like when you're commenting or saying something, like everything is so real, and like people, and I'm like, you just should stay away from those.
Just don't do it
because you can't. Yeah, me personally, I feel like I'm just talking to like nobody. I know they're real people on the other end, but I give them they take up no headspace for me.
Me neither.
It's not literally like entertainment. Like it's something fun to do for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I can't be on Reddit forever, but I'll poke in once a day and I'll be like, oh, that's an interesting take.
I do Quora too. Do you do that one?
Which one?
Quora.
That one's full of a lot of people from other lands, and I kind of struggle. I kind of struggle with it, but I do have a Quora. But I started to realize...
But you prefer Reddit?
Yes, I do like Reddit very much. So anyway, okay.
Well, I think the reason why I did Quora is because, again, Below Deck. But Below Deck is the cast members are from all over the world.
Yes.
So
that makes sense.
So it does make sense.
That makes sense.
And the viewership is like the cast.
We'll have to talk about Reddit next show because we'll have to tell each other what subreddits we do.
Okay.
Because I'm really curious, because there's quite a few, like I do a ton of true crime ones and stuff like that, so.
Yeah. Well, I just get I'll start clicking on things, and the next thing you know, I'm like reading about people who own rabbits, or, you know what I'm saying? I'll end up on something totally random.
We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our very long show.
Yeah.
And sorry, Producer Doug, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye!